All right. Yeah, cool. Hey, we're live. And we're going to be talking about TanStack Table V9. Cool. I'm Jack Harrington, and with me is Kevin Van Cott. And Kevin is the lead maintainer on TanStack Table.
Yeah, at this point now,
Yeah.
probably like past 2 or maybe technically 4 years.
Woo! Dang. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. But V9 is a huge release, right? So let's start going through like what V9's about. And yeah, why don't you just walk us through it?
Yeah.
You want to have your screen up there so people can see it?
Yeah.
All right.
Do that.
Do the full picture-in-picture thing. And you got to present, and then I can grab it and put it on the stage. There you go.
There
cool.
we go.
Nice. Right, I'm gonna shut up and just throw in some questions now again.
Yeah. So TanStack Table V9. We have a new homepage, a new site. Everything's new. Here, I need to put this over here. Just new everything. New state management system. New tree shakeable architecture. A lot of things. Oh, wow.
Actually, that state management system is really interesting to me. I'm always into state managers and stuff like that. And you mentioned that like this now works with other state man. Stopped doing as much state management. Now it's working with other state managers. Is that the idea?
Yeah. I can start. I can like kind of get into that. So TankStack Table version 8. I mean, man, we have a lot of articles about half of this stuff. I might as well just open up the blog. But pretty much TanStack Table version 8. It was rewritten from the ground up in TypeScript. Most of the state management was kind of still very like React specific. So for those who don't know, TanStack Table, it used to be React Table. It's still on NPM. I think it still gets like a 500,000. I'm gonna pull that up. But this is when I found TanStack Table. Oh, it's all React Table itself is still getting almost 2 million downloads a week. That's crazy,
dude. That is crazy.
It's been deprecated for like 4 years.
Wow. Okay.
When I first started using TanStack Table, it was still React Table version 7, and this would have been in 2020, 6 years ago. It was a headless library back then, all the way back in like version 6 and before then. So before 20, I want to say 17 or 18, it was just a data grid component library that Tanner had built for Nozzle pretty much and open sourced. Version 8, it went headless, still just React. Everything was built in React hooks. But yeah, by version 8, it finally goes like framework agnostic. But all the state management was still like very like built around like React 16, 17 patterns. So, just like any state change in any of the state causes just like it was like a forced mutation ref or something that just causes a re-render. It was almost kind of like a hack. And that eventually actually led us to being incompatible with the React compiler. One of the long complaints about TanStack Table, until pretty much this week, I guess, is that it was one of the few libraries where like the React compiler linting rules would complain specifically about like, hey, you're using an unsupported library that's not compatible with the React compiler. It was obviously one of our biggest goals is one, just get compatible with the React compiler, which was a little harder than it was it was challenging to get it perfect. But luckily we were able to copy most of those patterns from TanStack form, which used TanStack store. And then we wrote like an article basically on how complicated our state journey is. So this was written by Ricardo Pera. He's the second TanStack table maintainer, at least active one at this point. So if you want to like dive deep into like everything that we had to work through all frameworks, Angular, Solid, React, of course, Preact, Octane, Lit, Alpine, all these frameworks. We had to dig through that. But the end result is that we actually, it's instead of it being like a React-like state under the hood, it's like an atomic alien signals state management with TanStack Store. So I don't know, that was a bunch of nomenclature and words, but
atomic alien signals. Yeah. So like atoms from say Jotai or one of those, and then signals from like, well, I mean, alien signals is its own thing, but based on essentially signals.
Yeah. And you brought up Jotai, so actually TanStack Store, and this was actually after David from X States. He helped us refactor TanStack Store a bit for better performance. But when we moved to alien signals, like now TanStack Store actually mostly resembles Jotai under the hood. So I like open up like a basic example of TanStack table, and I'll make this a lot bigger. So this is like one of our more traditional like examples where like in version 8, although I'll comment this out. This is new, where like you just have like some state, you store it in React state, you like pass it back to the table, and if you want to hoist that state back out, you have like some like on sorting change, you connect it to your set state and whatever. Now you have all that state in your like in your scope. So if you're like, you need to pass this data to like React Query or something for some kind of like you're doing some server side logic with pagination and sorting, that's where this kind of pattern would kind of come in. But like what's new is you also have the ability, I want to show the atoms one, to instead of using like React state or solid signals or whatever, to use TanStack Store like directly. So we are like importing this directly from TanStack Store. And then instead of passing in a state, we actually just hook up the atoms directly. I don't know if that means much to you, but
well, what does this mean to people who are consuming the library? I think that's the most important thing.
And really,
I'm a state manager geek, so a lot of stuff makes, I'm into.
Here, I'm going to show the differences between rendering in like both. So if I get cd basic external state, so we get this running, turn on like React Scan, one of the best developer tools for React ever. So we're seeing like this like traditional, this is like the traditional like React state. Every time you make any kind of state change, it is like re-rendering the entire page pretty much, or like the entire scope of this use table hook and wherever this state is. And you can't get much more efficient than that. But if I go to, I'm going to open up this one actually. This is just like that atom one kind of that I showed. But this one, it's also using atoms, but it's also going to set this like default state selector to null.
Can you boost up the font size a little? Because
I'll do one, just one more at least.
Yeah, there you go. That's better. And maybe, I mean, the stuff down below is you can get rid of, like the.
Yeah, I just need the basic subscribe.
Okay, there you go. Cool.
So like here's like this example. Now, if we were to just do like, I'll just do S to S. So just default selector again. Every time we like do any kind of state change, the whole page is re-rendering again. You see up here, but If I go back, set this to null. So like by default, actually now nothing is going to re-render at all. Unless you actually opt into it. So you see here, only the table rows and like right here are actually updating and re-rendering now. Now this, to actually be able to achieve this in TankStack Table version 8 took so many React.memo hacks, and actually I'll just say it was pretty much impossible unless you just pretty much turned off the old state management of TankStack Table version 8. I'll go here even. So like, you notice how when I selected this row, I don't know if this is like coming across.
Yeah, it's not there. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
only the UI that actually subscribes to the row selection state now is re-rendering.
That's really cool. Okay, so basically, you're at least getting the granularity of the update down to at least the row level, at least. That's one. And it's row, but not. It's all the items in the row, or it's just that one particular.
So like you can get really granular with it, and so and this actually works just like TanStack form. If you've ever used any of the advanced like form.subscribe stuff in TanStack form, so like what we did here is say, hey, table, you don't re-render, you don't cause a re-render yourself at all. We're not subscribing to any state here. But down here, we'll have some React higher ordered components. Or I'll go all the way down to like where a row is. Is it? No, that's the footer. All right, so here is, all right, here, this is where the magic is happening. We're saying we're just like table rows or the table body. It's subscribing to column filters, global filter, pagination state. And inside the body, and I think it's all the way up here actually in the column definitions. We were saying, or wait, where is it? Yeah, it is right here. Your source is the row selection state, and then like an even finer grain selector is we're only going to re-render on if it matches the specific row ID that you're on. So that's why you see like only the row that's getting clicked, like selected and unselected, is re-rendering. Plus some headers here that have their own independent state subscribers and selectors. If I were to get rid of this selector right here, it's still like kind of like efficient, but you'll see that, or let's see, did I get something wrong? The main thing I wanted to show is that like every row re-renders based on that state.
Yep, definitely see that.
There
you go. Yeah.
So for this table, there's like, whether or not 1 or 10 rows re-render, it's not really that big of a deal, right? So, but think of like, there's so many like bigger tables out there with like features that actually need like 60 frames a second, 120 frames a second, that like they actually need the performance. And I actually ran into one of the new features that we built for TanStack Table v9 with cell selection. So let me pull that up. And I'll actually open up that code. Examples, React. And cell selection. So this is like the Excel kind of like you like highlight a row and whatever. So like we have this thing where like you drag your mouse around and it like highlights the cells that are all selected. It has like a on mouse enter, on mouse enter like event listener, and it's connecting to the table APIs. But I'm actually going to turn off our custom selector where it was filtering out the like the cell selection state. There's some like cell selection state in here. And like by default, it's still like okay, it's performant, but I have a special stress test button here. Now there's 1,000 rows. You see that. And then when I'm dragging it around, there's like what 300 or 400 milliseconds of lag.
Yeah, it's definitely chunky.
Yeah, so like this is causing like the React rendering to crawl to its knees pretty much. But now I'll keep this here. So what we have is only subscribing to this state. This is pretty much just filtering out everything except cell selection. And we go down to like where every row is rendered. T-body. Now we're doing like a special subscribe here, where we're going to say like, and this is a little bit complicated, where it's deriving exactly the cells that actually need to subscribe and re-render on every drag. But the idea is, so this is not with 1,000 rows yet. Let me stress test. And look at this, 1,000 rows, and it's still lightning fast, blazingly fast even. So,
oh yeah, like that. Okay.
Yeah. So
nice.
Yeah, if you think of other things like, what is it? Like column resizing. This is like the classic one where it's usually so slow.
Ooh, dang.
Yeah, like old versions of TanStack Table.
Wait, can you do that again? Because was it spanning across both of those? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, for this demo, we're rendering the table 3 times, like with different kinds of CSS, kind of just showing off, like if you're using like table tags or just divs or divs with absolute, that kind of thing.
Okay, absolute, but okay. Sorry, just gut reaction to that one. But yeah, no, that's cool. Yeah, and it's cool to see like multiple renderings from the same data source, right? That actually warms my heart. So how does that work? Like how do you define the data source and kind of share between all of them?
Oh, I mean, this one was just the column resizing example is like literally we have one use table hook and then we just render through the.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Copy and pasted the table 3 times.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It's just like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I didn't know if it was like one store. I guess it is kind of one store.
And it is one store within the table. Yes.
Yeah, within that one use table hook. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, so your original question is like, oh, like what's new with the state management in React?
Sounds like it's big time new.
Yeah. Well, so it's funny, like so if we go to like solid or svelte, like it doesn't need it at all. Do we want to hop over to either solid or svelte?
Yeah, man, let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if I went to, I think it's svelte, cell selection. So since Svelte and Solid are built on, there's signal frameworks at this point. Svelte 5 runes, Solid's always been signals, of course, but they don't even need like subscriptions, or well, they don't need our table.subscribe utility because that's just for like pretty much selecting slices of state. But in Solid and Svelte, you just don't need any of that. And what it does is you just directly read the atom values. We'll see if we can see some of that in here. It's supposed to be like an identical example pretty much. Okay, we are running Svelte now. Good performance, stress test. Still like awesome performance. But so what's funny is that our Svelte and Solid examples are actually way simpler now than the React ones. It kind of used to be the other way around, where like Svelte table, Solid table for TanStack Table, they used to have to like have all these extra hacks to get the signals to like to propagate to all the state updates, and then it was actually way not efficient really at all.
Yeah.
But now, like Svelte, Angular, I think Svelte, Angular, and Solid are all outperforming React pretty much performance-wise, just because we've like under the hood we're using signals, and then we just expose those signals to these frameworks.
You're talking about with table as opposed to just sort of generally.
Yeah. So
no, I mean I think Svelte certainly does outperform React. I don't know about Angular, but certainly.
Yeah. Well, Angular has surprised me.
No, I wouldn't be surprised, but I just don't know. I can't. Yeah. So I'm sure somebody can jump on here and be like, Angular rock.
So like right before this stream, our other TankStack Table maintainer, Ricardo, he built like this live updating like example where it's just like data updating like, oh man, I think it's supposed to be like 10. I need to go see his
market monitor. Okay. So this is some sort of like stock market watcher, or I don't know, maybe crypto or something.
Yeah, that's the idea. This is all fake data.
Oh, okay.
Just running in this.
Cranking though.
Yeah, but yeah, the idea is that I think it's like re-rendering. I think it's 10 times. It's 10 times a second. All the numbers are up here. Actually, I should have just looked at that. 10,000 events per second throughput. Ooh. And this is TanStack Angular table handling it just fine.
Nice.
He ported it to both Solid and React, and they were performing like 4 to 6 times worse. So I don't think I even have that one to show off right now. But
what he needs to do is move it over to Octane. I really want to see that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so this is I mean, TanStack Table. I think we only we encourage the use of the Angular signals, and that's why we're able to get such good performance in our Angular table adapter now. And from at least like last minute examples that we put together like this, it's actually Angular's performing the best. I don't think Angular is always performing the best, but I'm surprised. But the lesson really is like anything signal based is just going to be just have a higher what was it like higher floor, higher ceiling.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah. All right.
That is a really slick demo, I gotta say. I mean, it moves fast. It's just visually kind of stunning and appealing.
Yes. Thanks, Ricardo, for throwing this together last second for us.
You rock, Ricardo.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I want to go through. I mean, yeah, I guess like what would be our next question? I mean, state management is the biggest deal pretty much. I think like it's going to affect the code you write. It's going to.
Well, let's talk about that for a second. For folks that still are, knees deep in the code, what does it look like ergonomically to just start out with a TanStack table? What does that look like? What's a simple one?
Yeah. So like if we're just getting started, and this, I'll pretty much open like what our like getting started example is. So basic use table. So like if you're just getting, and yeah, so again, this is pretty much our quick start guide. When you're making a table, you have to know your type, the type of your data, then your data, you fetch it or define it somewhere else otherwise. So this is new kind of in version 9. What you're going to do is like declare what features you're actually going to use in TanStack Table. The older versions of TanStack Table were very much just like all the code is included. Like even if you're never going to use column pinning or even pagination, like you're virtualizing everything, all the code and APIs for all that stuff are going to be bundled anyway. But in TanStack Table version 9, it's actually a very like vanilla experience. So if I was like to console log even just to like table dot, we'll just do state, or we'll even just do like store dot state. You actually see that there's actually nothing, like our state is like an empty object by default. And it's only if we come up here and let's say like we want like the row, like row selection feature. We're going to add some like row selection. And then I'll even like shorten that, do shorthand on that. Now if we like console log this, like only then is the TypeScript going to say like, hey, this API is actually here on the
why the dash through store? Just
so actually this is to encourage you to use
to not do this.
Yeah, to use this table.state. So the difference
okay.
The difference is on table.store, that's it's not reactive to React. It's like the internal store in TanStack store that's like it won't cause re-renders itself.
Sure. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
And then this selector right here is what you like you can customize, and it gets stored right here. I'm using the word store a lot.
Yeah, you are.
Well, yeah.
That's okay.
So yeah, this is like selected state that anytime it changes based on how you customize this selector, it actually causes re-renders in React.
All right. Cool. Good so far.
So yeah, that was the state. But I guess also with if like we were to do like even just like table.set row selection, like this is just a like a setter. So this is like the JavaScript API that lives on the table. If I come back up here and like even like comment this out, I unregister it, you'll just see that we get a type error here.
Oh, that's really okay. That's cool. Nice.
And this is warning, and our types, what we console log and our TypeScript types are actually matching one-to-one. So this is like warning you, hey, this JavaScript method doesn't actually exist because you didn't import and set up the row selection feature.
Okay.
So this is like, I think a row selection feature, this is like 2 kilobytes of JavaScript.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So, for those of you playing at home, I mean, that's tree shakeable then. That means that, if you don't use it, it ain't in there, which is great.
Yeah, exactly. So like, by default, so this was a big refactor that took me like a whole year to actually, probably more than a year to actually figure out how to do it right and get it to work with TypeScript. The hard, like getting this to work with JavaScript is like kind of trivial. It's just you either attach an object or you don't. But getting this to work like well with TypeScript, not have bad any leaks, not have also be performant in TypeScript and not crash your dev server like it used to. Like that, it was actually pretty. I had to rewrite the entire library and strip out the code into module. It's the whole thing I should probably write an article on.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, totally. But one thing for sure, guys, is like, when you think about, oh, do we need these libraries and these frameworks in the age of AI, right? And agents. Yes, you do, because people like Kevin have spent a whole year making sure that it works well as performance.
Yeah.
In just that one area. But I'm curious. So the feature stuff. So let's talk about the feature stuff for a second. Like, what other features are there? And can I add my own features?
Yeah. Wow. I actually just opened to the first page in the docs that
what? Okay.
I think we're up to 16 features now, or is it 17? Nice. I added new features last weekend, like right before.
And so in a sense, it's kind of like middleware.
Really, the most accurate way to describe this is that every feature is just a plugin now, and this is like a plugin architecture.
Okay, so plugin, middleware. Okay, cool.
And so if you add all these up plus the core of the library, so like the core of the library, I think it's about 6 kilobytes now. which for a table library, that's pretty small. So like
That is wow. Okay,
I'll have to
that is
remeasure.
awesome.
At one point, like a year ago, it was only 4.5 kilobytes, but then we added a whole ton of like state management stuff to actually get it to work really well. So it grew. But so
Up to a chunky 6 kilobytes. Yeah.
yeah, but let's just say like you're starting at 6 kilobytes.
Yeah.
If your example just is starting off like this, where this table features that you declare is just an empty object, and then every time you add a feature, it's like 1, 2, or 3 kilobytes, pretty much depending on how big that feature is.
Yeah.
So it grows all the way up to 25, or if you actually look on Blendophobia, I think it measures us as 30 kilobytes. But when I run my like builds locally, like our core is like just under 25 kilobytes. I think it's the difference is like if it's brought lead, is that what it's called? But minified 30, brought lead 25, something like that. But the main point being like not like you're not starting.
And you're not going to use all this stuff, guys.
Yeah,
like you know. Yeah.
Most likely, you're not going to use all this. You're not going to be using every single feature. Like, not everyone needs cell selection, or especially like our advanced features like aggregation. Being like row pinning, all that stuff, which is all really cool features.
Probably like sorting, filtering. Maybe they're your top ones.
Yeah, everyone just wants a table. Sometimes a lot of people just want a simple table. It just sorts, it paginates, and it has a search box. And so now in version 9, I think we're expecting that like a table with that functionality should be under 10 kilobytes. In version 8, it was about 15. So even though the library has doubled in size, if you're using a simple table, you're probably going to be having 50% less JavaScript just coming from TanStack Table itself.
Yeah. And we take this one, like this is kind of a trend across all of TanStack, is that, we have everything is designed to be tree shakeable, opt-in, small from the start.
Yeah. And, this was one of like, when I just started making version 9 about 2 years ago, I kind of made this like the first thing I wanted to figure out. That might have actually been a mistake, because that's why it took a couple of years. Trying to figure out the hardest problem first.
I actually think that's the right way to go, usually.
Yeah. What everyone actually wanted was the React compiler and state management performance improvements, but I got stuck on this specific problem for like a year. But now that it works, like it's the reason why like we actually have added a whole bunch of features. Like we can now let the library grow without feeling bad about.
Right. And other people can bring in other plugins, which is super cool.
Yeah, exactly. Which I don't know if you see this page here, custom plugin.
Yeah. So this is all basically the extension points.
Yeah. So what's really cool is all the internal code that I use to construct all the features together internally, I just export it and let you also use it if you want to. So, we have a thing right here like, hey, TanStack Table strives to be lean. We don't add every single feature, although now we actually are starting to, because it doesn't cost that
add
much.
Anything. Right, exactly. If you don't bring the feature, you don't pay. Yeah.
So if you want to try to make a pull request to add, I think this example is a density feature or something, just an arbitrary thing that like maybe 1% of people would actually want in the core library. I should just run it locally instead of waiting on the sandbox. What do I even call it? It's not going to be. I think it's CD React custom plugin. So, like, let's just say like, oh, hey, Tanner.
Hey, what's up?
Yeah, I was going over like the custom feature architecture stuff. But Yeah, you have anything to add?
I'll be honest, I'm still battling paternity leave. So I just barely made it to my first year for the afternoon. So this is the first thing I'm doing. Uh, but yeah, I just wanted to show up, celebrate, and offer any anecdotes that seem warranted.
Yeah, before we have you talk more, so last stream my microphone was barely working. Now it seems like yours.
Now you're. I think you're on like the Mac
I wonder if they can
mic.
It sounds like you're like 100 feet away.
How about this?
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
There you go.
All right, now we can hear you. Yeah. You already kind of interrupted my flow, so
I'm so sorry. Well, you know what? I don't need to interrupt too much more. I just thought it would be cool to show up and say, like, I mean, honestly, think about some of the stuff that's come out in this version. Like, we've been talking about some of these features for a long time.
Oh yeah,
a long time. I mean, some of these even go back to like V6 when we went from, you know, a component to headless. You know, so it's been like, I'm vicariously very excited about this through you, because some of the stuff has just seemed like, man, are we ever going to get there? And I think we're finally there for a lot of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. When I said you already interrupted my flow, it's like, well, now's the perfect time to just kind of go like back in time, like beginning of this library. I see like 4 years ago you were still making lots of commits. I mean, of course, that's when version 8 came out. But
yeah, I think that, you know, the thing that I think I'm the most excited about is just the fact that we're basing all of this on like an alien signals powered store solution. I think that's really what has enabled us to push this even further. That's allowed us to push the performance further. Like, it's made all of the features that we've been able to bring in much lighter. You know, every feature isn't reinventing this like state management system. And the fact that that works across every single adapter the same exact way is just insane. Insane. And to know that we're taking that elsewhere in the TanStack ecosystem as well is very exciting.
Oh yeah, and I've wrote about this before, but like this version of TankStack Table wouldn't really be possible without TanStack Store pretty much just solving the state management layer in pretty much every framework. Like, was that you or Corbin that like started the TanStack Store project? I forget.
I started it, but I mean, we're gonna say I did about 1 to 2% of it. Like, it very quickly turned into, you know, I was like, oh, this isn't fast enough. Because when I did it, I was just like, hey, I'm going to be super dumb about this and just use, I'm going to use reducers and like in memory kind of set state stuff. Mm-hmm. It was very like inspired by a Redux or something, but very simplified, or almost like a Zustand, but very lightweight and just tailored for a bunch of different adapters. It worked. We made a bunch of adapters, but it was just dog slow for like really high throughput stuff. That's when Corbin came in and was like, hey, you know, if we're going to use this for form, it's got to be much faster. And then went way ham on alien signals and just figuring out how to solve like diamond problems with signals. So once he got into that, I think that's when that really opened up kind of a lot of the work that's gone into it. And we're putting TanStack Store into everything now. And we have bigger plans for it too that we probably don't have time to talk about today, but yeah, very exciting.
Jack was
exciting. Yeah.
Jack wants to talk about it. I mean, you guys
man, I want to talk about it. I'm all about
that. I don't have that
managers.
amount of time today, but you guys
All right. I mean, we're going to keep streaming in the future. So we'll do another stream on that.
For sure. Yeah. Well, I mean, I just wanted to say, like, Kevin reminded me, like, it has been about 10 years since, React table was a thing. And that is just crazy.
That is kind of crazy, actually. Yeah.
Because it started out as just a component that I needed.
Yeah, of course. The headless wasn't a thing back then.
I was still using Angular, honestly. And I started building it in Angular, and then we moved to React in the middle of it.
12 years
I was like, oh, there's no data grid component in React. I mean, I remember talking to Niall Crosby, who's from AG Grid, and he's like, oh yeah, we're going to have React, but not for a while. I was like, oh man, well, I better build something. Yeah. And then I also remember going headless and just really making everybody angry. They were like, why are you taking my component away from me? I have to write an HTML table. I was like, yep, sorry. And then I went and immediately closed like 300 issues in the GitHub repository. It was the best day of my life. So,
but now, like, I think headless makes a whole lot more sense in the agentic world.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. All the pains that people were complaining about before are just gone now. Even Kevin and I were debating the other day, like, does a composite component really even make a whole lot of sense? And with AI, I think there's pieces of it that absolutely do. You can see that usefulness in things like the ShadCN ecosystem and ReUI. But I think, if anything, it's proven that the headless approach can catch up or even be better or more powerful than kind of this all-in-one monolithic approach.
Yeah.
Pretty wild stuff.
I mean, I've said this about my older libraries. I'll pull this one up, but I feel like this library, it can be replaced with a markdown file almost. Theo likes to say, your company could just be a markdown file or something like that.
Yeah.
But it could just be a skill. Like, this was solving a problem of, hey, like, how do you use Material UI with TanStack Table? Or it was actually React Table at first, version 7.
Yeah.
But, like, now AI, yes, it's so good at just kind of putting the pieces together as long as the contracts on both sides are clear.
Yeah. This could definitely be a skill. But
and wait till we start hooking in charts and
TanStack Table is not
and more
skill.
stuff.
And TanStack charts.
That's another story around that too. Is it's like the table is its own app on its own. It's such a big piece of it, but then you just go out one more level and you've got all this other stuff to worry about. You've got the data synchronization, and you've got data visualization beyond charts. You have mutations and build your own sync engine type stuff. So it's just like it's never ending. Taking a monolithic approach to it all, I think it's just that's an ism from the last decade. We needed that because it was just so hard to break things down into these reusable pieces, but still keep your sanity. But AI just helps you keep your sanity now. You can literally work with 100,000 Lego pieces in front of you is no longer daunting. But 10 years ago, you would have been like, no, I need the modules. I need to build this in like big chunks. So it's definitely, I think we're moving into a new era of kind of modularity and composability. I'm taking the same approach with charting in TanStack charts. So it's going to be fun.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at these libraries like AG Grid, which, like, if you're going to use it, like, it can be a powerful, correct solution probably for you. But I think I was seeing that it was like 600 kilobytes at 1 second. I think that it is tree shakeable, at least like the newer version.
To some extent, yeah.
Yeah. But, like the bundle size, this is saying, almost 700 kilobytes. I don't know.
I mean, even if you can tree shake some of these down to 100 kilobytes or 150 kilobytes, like that's
not
still
25
a lot.
kilobytes.
And
which
it's
is
not
worst case scenario for the table.
it's not make or break. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have an interactive application, you can afford to load in half a megabyte of stuff. It's really what your users expect out of that situation. But it's also just, I wouldn't even call it as much of a vanity metric, because it's not, because AI cares. AI cares as much as we do. So when there's room to optimize now, you have to optimize. And if you don't, there's not going to be very many humans left around looking at these metrics to kind of sympathize with you and go, oh, well, that's okay. AI is just going to go, this is the fastest one. It's the lightest weight one. This is the one that we should use. And I think it could become even more important where thinking about like agentic UI, where you ask for something from your LLM and it needs to go and query a database, do some code mode magic, build a table right in front of your eyes that needs to have data grid capabilities, and then go and write, show you a chart. Time to just even parse the kilobytes and reason about the library, like it's going to make a difference at some point. The faster we go, it's all going to make a bigger difference. So I think we're on the right track.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So what else do we want to show before we wrap this up?
Did you already show off the new TypeScript stuff? How
kinda with the features?
you only have to it will only register what?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's actually
this is amazing.
Yeah, we're going over that like right here, where like this API, it's available, but if you remove the feature that you imported, this is an import up here. Comment this out.
Yeah.
Now this is removed both from the JavaScript bundle, like this will never, like this builder pattern just won't even exist on the table, and TypeScript warns you about it.
I think I mean that's cool, because then AI is going to kind of assume that a lot of this stuff is available, and it might go and try and use one of those APIs. And when it gets that warning, it'll be like, oh yeah, I got to import that. So like we're almost encoding, the best bundle scenario into the experience that an AI can have. The other one that I think is really interesting is when you start to change. So because most companies, they have like a data grid component, right? That's just kind of everywhere. But this also allows you to create copies of data grid components that also have specific metadata about them. And before, you would have to assign that metadata to like every single grid in your entire, wherever TypeScript touched.
Oh, okay.
You would just have like those meta fields. But now, as far as I've seen, you can now assign metadata to individual grid instances, and only see those specific metadata properties where you're using those specific grid instances.
Yeah.
It's like, well, duh, like no brainer. That should be how it is. But man, TypeScript is hard. It took a while to figure out how to do that.
Yeah. So you're talking about the like per table column and table meta.
Yeah. All like per column, even just the data type that you expect coming in and out of the table, the shape of it. Generics are helpful. But at some point, you get into like custom data grid stuff that relies on meta. Sometimes your templates can rely on meta information themselves, which is when it's important to be able to kind of version this stuff. And in the early versions, we were just happy to figure TypeScript out at all. And so this version is like, yes, finally, like we can do that. 4 years in the making. It's great.
Well, so it's interesting you say that. So like, I feel like in retrospect, TanStack Table version 9 is almost more of a successor to React Table v7 than it is the v8.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because like v7, it didn't have all the TypeScript goodness. Like it was like a separate TypeScript at types package even.
Yeah.
No TypeScript at all, but it was tree shakeable with like every hook was a although order of the hooks mattered. That was
Yeah.
but like you built up the table kind of in the same way with like, oh, like use sorting, use pagination, all that kind of stuff. So it used to be trade shakeable, but in the name of TypeScript, you had to axe that pattern in version 8. As far as I remember.
Yeah, it's we're meandering on a path, and that's fine. Like we're learning. And TypeScript has been getting better and changing. Some of its discoveries we make in other libraries we share. I think that's one of the best parts of the TanStack org is that each library comes with some really unique challenge. And once we figure it out, it's almost instantly shareable to the other libraries. Like a lot of what we did here in TanStack Table, this new version of TypeScript, I'm sure was influenced by all the crazy stuff we've learned doing TanStack router and start, which router and start are just like they taught us so much about types and how to do it.
Yeah, I have an article for that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, pretty much I credit like half of the stuff I figured out on TanStack Table, especially state management, by just copying from Corbin and TanStack Form.
Yeah. And Form's doing the same thing on Table now, so.
Yeah. Form V2.
Shh. I guess it's not a secret. So
we announced it last stream. Come on.
It's true.
Yeah, you had brought up something about like AI is going to constantly like try to use like the old version of like TanStack Table version 8 APIs, find out, I need to add it, then it has to constantly relearn that it needs to add the features before using them, that kind of things. But if you use TanStack Intent, one of the first skills is API not found. Maybe we could name it something better, but it's just...
Yeah, I don't know about that as a skill, but yes, use TanStack Intent, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. One of the things I wanted to make sure, the AI is going to know how to use this system. So if you're using TanStack Intent, you load these skills in, you should be able to, your AI should be able to get this right pretty quickly.
Well, cool story. I'm just kind of dinking around with I'm building a little card gaming kind of social gaming card game platform thing, just for fun, just for me and my family and friends and stuff. And it's old. Like I'm bringing this code back from like 4 or 5 years ago. And one of the things is I like have this little admin, all these tables everywhere, like actual HTML tables. And what was cool is that I just said, hey, like upgrade to V9, install TanStack Intent, and then just fly. Like go data gridify all the things. And then I watched it just call into TanStack Intent and just like, oh yeah, to do this with tables and to do that with columns. And it just figured it all out, but it used all the best practices. And I didn't have to do any skill installation. This is what people don't understand is
that's awesome.
Every single time somebody says, oh, you got to use the skills, they're going to NPX skills or they're just telling, their LLM to go out on the internet and find some random skills, which everybody's done. But this is like, you don't have to think about it. It's safe and secure. It's coming from the same NPM module that you trust the runtime code with. And it just works. I didn't have to do anything at all. And if Kevin goes in tomorrow and says, hey, that skill for like, cell selection or column dragging or whatever, we need to update that because we found a little bit of a best practice bug. And he updates it and I upgrade and I say, and it'll catch it next time. It'll just be like, oh yeah, by the way, this was updated. So it's pretty wild. I don't think people understand intent shouldn't really be necessary. Let's be honest. Like we should have already decided on something, at least in the NPM ecosystem, to just make this built in, but there isn't one. So that's why we're doing it. But intent is just so freaking cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, having it be the default sometimes is like the pre-install, post-install stuff. It's maybe a little bit too powerful. if it was there and just had it, you don't want somebody leaking a skill in there that's like, and now overwrite, your homework.
Right. Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be a journey. I just think we don't want to create more copies of the same problem we've had in the past, which is, people are building new skill registries. And you create a new registry, you've got a new supply chain problem, right?
Yeah,
we already have one supply chain problem. Let's keep it there. It's like, hey, the vehicle we have, it's not perfect, but at least we only have one vehicle instead of like multiple. So yeah, I just think that let's try and make the world better with what we have. And that's kind of what TanStack Intent does. It's just like, it's not trying to be a new problem.
Yeah, I realized I probably should have just brought this up on screen, but yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's still an alpha. We need early feedback. And Sarah is just cranking out great ideas about it. There's questions of performance. There's questions about, context, budgets, like staying inside of context budgets. How do we, there's a lot of research going into like, how do we make LLMs reliably find the skills we want without just like blowing up the context every single time.
Yeah.
So we have smart people thinking about it, smarter than me, thankfully.
Yeah. Yeah. I wonder if the wrap, or are we getting near the end? Oh, we've been
sure.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to have to duck out actually right now.
Okay.
But I'll let you guys wrap up. Anyways, just wanted to say that V9 is like
killer.
Full circle amazing. And you can tell because everybody who knows data grids has already upgraded, and it was a seamless upgrade, and AI makes it even easier. So yeah, I'd say it's gone off without a hitch. So congratulations, Kevin. This is easily one of the best releases of any of our open source products we've ever had. So
really, yeah, I don't know about that, but yeah, I think we've had,
as always.
We'll say like, hey, at least as of this morning or something like that, 70,000 downloads of V9, although including beta was probably over 100,000. Only a couple of issues really open, and they were just issues that were still in V8 where there's still kind of some research or disagreement on the behavior. But
we probably still have 24 hours of PNPM safety as well before we start seeing a lot of the like our stuff coming down through the line, and also people who have upgraded their own systems to use it and push new versions down their stream. So I think we'll see a good, healthy explosion of upgrades here pretty soon.
Oh yeah, just last night we got the ShadCN, both ShadCN like React and Svelte. I think Vue, which is surprisingly popular. I didn't know about ShadCN Vue.
I didn't. That's a new thing to me.
Well, yeah, actually, apparently ShadCN has been ported to almost every framework. Like there's even an Angular one that's being worked on.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Yeah.
It's not being done by ShadCN themselves. It's just community
inspired by.
Yeah. But yeah, that just landed last night. So all the ShadCN crowd is only just going to be upgrading probably next week. So yeah, a lot more to come. Soon we'll get to the users, not just the users who wanted to upgrade, but the users who have to upgrade, and we'll probably get a lot more issues and complaints then. But until then.
Yeah. Well, I'm optimistic. All right, guys, I'm going to duck out.
All right. See you, Tanner.
See you guys.
Well, any last thoughts?
Oh yeah, I was just like, did you have like any cool like examples you wanted to show or
mine's still in the works,
Okay.
Yeah, I'm busy, prepping for render and all that. So
okay.
But very happy with what I've experimented with so far, for sure.
Yeah. So I kind of want to just leave on the idea. Kind of like this example here where like if you need to build something like as complicated as AG Grid, Like I think, or I shouldn't even say AG Grid by name, just like any of these like big pro like data grids that you either pay for or they're just pre-built with tons of JavaScript by default, that kind of thing. I actually think TanStack Table is like setting itself up to like be able to scale to those use cases. I think performance used to be a huge problem for TanStack Table, at least at the high end of the scale. Like, oh, like you have like a million rows to process client side, or thousands of columns even, or something like that. You know, a lot of work went into just getting this next version to be more performant. So like if we look at our like I just, you know, I tweeted this out and I showed it on the last stream, but might as well show it again, right?
Yeah.
All right. So like if you like, you know, this is just using
huge spreadsheet geek. Love this stuff.
The initial prototype I just built in 1 hour. Now I've probably put like 3 or 4 hours of prompts of you know, 3 or 4 AI hours into it.
Right. Yeah. I don't know what that means, but okay. Hour. Yeah. It's like when the AI comes back and says, this will take a week. It's like, no, it won't. It'll be done in like 30 minutes. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Not fast mode. So whatever that means. But you know, yeah, this is something where it would have taken maybe like 6 months or a year to build this thing. I feel like with like older versions of like even like React Table or something, and doing it all manually. But now this just uses TanStack Table, TanStack Virtual, and TanStack hotkeys. So like all the like navigation and stuff.
Oh, there's a hip tip for folks. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. And then like these are all just TanStack features. So, you know, if I scroll TanStack Virtual, it's making it so that we're rendering what 30,000 cells, and then I could stress test it to what is that 250,000 cells.
Ooh, wow.
And it still works just as good. We have like column penning working. You know, we could have like sorting working. We'll see if we start to run into weird things here. Sorting 10,000 rows and 250 columns. I might have actually just frozen it.
Oh, uh-oh.
We can just reload.
Yeah, as Chrome starts to bonk. There it is. Yes.
Oh, and I can't even duplicate. Okay.
No, there you go.
But, you know, that same cell selection stuff, like it's using table.subscribe. This would slow to a crawl if we didn't have the new state management layer.
Yeah.
Also kind of cool. You see this. This was impossible in TanStack Table version 8. Just cell, like column and row spanning in general.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I thought, okay. Yeah,
this was like I added this one day before version 9 came out. Yeah, on Sunday night, and it's why it's almost kind of like why it delayed the release like a whole day. But
no.
But yeah, being able to like actually use like custom like header and column like cell column and row spanning. That's like a whole brand.
Is that built in or is that like a feature?
It's a feature. That's what I mean.
That's cool. Like, no, that's great. So it literally, if you're not going to use column and row spanning, you just don't bring it in, and you don't pay for it. Nice.
Yeah. So like it made zero difference to the core library.
That's awesome.
I mean, I can even, let's see, we got cell spanning.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And
yeah, perfect. Yeah.
And it's like a column depth thing where you either span rows or like you can put a bunch of conditional callbacks. I mean, you saw here, like just like the fact that you can do it. It's a stateless feature. It kind of like requires like the memoization of the columns changing and stuff. But actually, man, I haven't tested this out. What happens? Oh, okay, good. It doesn't allow an impossible state.
Oh, yeah, that's a tricky one, huh? Oh, yeah. Oh. I was like, oh, how? Okay. Yeah. That's clever. Just sort of avoid the issue altogether. It's like, if you intersect with any of this crazy stuff, no. Oh, wait, you did. Oh, hold on. That one you can merge?
This one I did the classic like Excel, what do you call it? Over
Oh, yeah, the
why am I
extend
forgetting the word?
selection. Or yeah.
I don't know why I'm forgetting the term for it because it's a very common Excel thing, but
Yeah.
you're overriding, you're dragging the fill. You're dragging the fill. That was just an AI prompt. I didn't do any special code for that myself. But it works with TanStack Table, and you're just a prompt and a library install of TanStack Table away, apparently, from being able to build something even as good as this.
And intent.
And intent. Yeah, that was another
intent.
Big deal.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, this has been fun, man.
Yeah. Yeah, this was a fun stream. Just talked about for an hour about TanStack Table.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Use TanStack Table V9, guys.
Yeah. All right. Be sure to tune in the future shows. I don't know what we're talking about this month, next month, but
probably talk about TanStack AI pretty soon.
Okay.
Coming up on 1.0 of that one. And we have a lot of new features in there. And then, of course, eventually we'll get to a TanStack Start 1.0.
Yeah.
Woo, yeah.
That'll be the big one.
Yep. All right, Kevin. See you on the next stream or not. See you online.
See you around.
Okay. Bye.